Hello, my name is Sam Mugavero. I'm the owner of SMUGS Fitness, located in the Kirkwood neighborhood of Atlanta, the president of the Kirkwood Business Owners Association, and an alum of the Start Me program out of Eastlake in 2018. At SMUGS Fitness, we specialize in custom individual training, small group training, small group fitness classes, and corporate wellness programs for businesses large and small. Back when I started at Start Me, one of my goals was to hire my first full-time employee. Up until that point, I had only hired contractors, and so I was very excited to expand my business to include a full-time employee or more over the next few years. I learned a lot in Start Me. I've also learned a lot of what not to do during the hiring process. So I'd like to share with you the top 5 takeaways that I've learned and how we've modified our process to include the hiring processes we use today. The first thing I'd like to share with you is be very clear on why you want to add a full-time employee to your staff, and be very clear on what they're going to do and what you're looking for. For example, for us, when it was just me and I had contractors, my contractors were simply coaches. I couldn't really have them do any of the back-end work that I was doing, and I needed to expand so that I could free up my time to work more on my business rather than in it. So I was very clear on what I needed. I needed someone that could coach, I needed someone that had some finance background, and I needed somebody with a personality to help me do some marketing. I had all those three things, but as just one human, I couldn't do all of those and still grow my business. I was running out of bandwidth and running out of time. So be very clear on what you need and why you need them. 2, be very, very clear on what qualities that person must possess to be the right fit for your company. Now, one of the things that we require is you have to be very personable. You're working with individuals all the time. Another thing we required is you must be very dedicated to the highest customer service you can possibly deliver. This may be the best hour of someone's day when they come in here for their training session, and so you need to be a part of that, and that's one of our requirements. Our last requirement is we needed somebody who was familiar with the fitness business, and they must have some ability to coach, right? So we can teach them to coach how we would like to coach, and I can teach them everything there is to know about fitness that I know. But if they don't have some ability to communicate that effectively, then they're not the right fit. 3, make sure you have a very vast network of individuals that you can rely on to help you identify potential candidates. It's really hard as a small business owner to just put out a blanket job description on one of the large job sites and actually get a candidate who's a good fit. All of our hires so far to this day have been brought on and found due to our vast network throughout the Atlanta area and beyond, both with fitness professionals and with other business owners. One of our best resources for identifying potential employees and a potential hire is working with other business owners, because they often have a network as large as ours. So use your network to identify a potential candidate. 4, clearly define the roles and the responsibilities that your potential employee will have. When you do the interview process, then it's very cut and dry, the questions you ask them, yet even with it being cut and dry, you can then chase little qualities that you're looking for off of those questions. But if you don't know what role this person will have within your company and what responsibilities they'll have, it's really, really hard to interview them effectively. Back when I was hiring just contractors, just coaches, my interview was very simple. I left the gym a mess. In here, I'd leave everything all over the place. They would come in for their interview. When they walked in, I would be picking things up. If that potential contractor stood over there in the office and didn't come in here and offer to help me clean up, the interview was over. I knew they weren't the right fit because they probably weren't a great human if they weren't willing to help me clean up the gym before their interview. Our hiring process has completely changed since then, because now we know exactly what we're looking for. I wasn't just looking for a good human that was going to help me out in the gym. Now we were looking for specific roles and responsibilities. So number 4 is to clearly define those roles and responsibilities so you can ask questions effectively when you interview a potential candidate. And number 5, it's so helpful to get feedback from the candidates you're interviewing on how that interview process actually went. We refine our process all the time with each new hire and each new interview we go to. We want to make sure that our process is still fitting with the business model and it's fitting with what we need. So we'll review numbers 1 through 4 that I've already shared with you, see how that has led us to the process of interviewing, and then get some feedback from the person we interviewed and see what they thought about our process. Were there areas where you could improve? Were there areas where maybe we did a little too much asking and not enough letting them talk? So there's lots of ways you can refine your process, and make sure once you think you have that thing nailed down, you test and measure and get some feedback from the people you've interviewed. So really quickly to summarize for you, number one, be clear on the what and the why you're hiring for. Two, make sure you identify the qualities that the person must possess to be a fit. And these are the bare minimum qualities, right? Make sure you're at least getting a human that can fit in with you. Three, use your network to identify potential candidates. Oftentimes, they will better lead you to a candidate that you will hire versus posting to a big job board. Four, clearly define the roles and responsibilities that this person will have within your company. Make sure you're able to interview based on that, what their roles and responsibilities will be. And five, get feedback, right? I'm not an expert, I don't know everything. I will also mess things up in that interview process, and it's great to get feedback from someone you interview. What a better way to invite somebody into your business than by asking them for feedback on the interview process you used for them. It's a great way to start that relationship if you potentially hire them. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. You can find me, sam@smugsfitness.com, via email, or if you want to follow us on social media, on Facebook, we're at Smugs Fitness, Instagram at Smugs Fitness, and we have 2 Kirkwood locations, both on College Avenue, separated by about a mile. I look forward to hearing from you if you have questions, and best of luck to you in your hiring.